The morning sun crept through the curtains of the house in Cheshire, casting a gentle glow across the living room where Eamonn sat quietly with his coffee, stirring aimlessly. It wasn't the usual Eamonn, the vibrant, bold voice of daytime television, but someone more fragile, more uncertain. A week ago, he'd received the diagnosis: cancer. The word echoed in his mind like a clap of thunder in a quiet hall. He had always seen himself as resilient. Years of live TV, spontaneous interviews, comfortable banter with his wife, friends, and fans. But now, as he looked at his reflection in the window, faint lines around his eyes, a slight tremor in his hand, he felt the ground shift beneath him. He remembered the moment the doctor spoke. "We need to treat this urgently. It's serious, but we'll fight it together." It sounded comforting and terrifying at once. In the days that followed, his world contracted. The famous rooms of the studio felt distant. The audience laughs faded into memory. His phone pinged with messages of support. "We're behind you. You'll beat this." And he tried to smile back. But inside, fear fanned its wings. What would the future look like? The endless morning shows, the spontaneous laughter, the camaraderie. Would they still be part of his life? His wife, his children, old friends, they gathered around him like a protective cloak. He found strength in the quiet presence of his daughter's hand resting on his shoulder, his son's steady voice saying, "Dad, I'm here." In the hospital corridor, the antiseptic smell and the beeping machines made him feel small. Yet in that smallness, he discovered something unexpected: acceptance. One particularly bleak evening, he sat alone in his room, the world outside continuing on as if he weren't pausing mid-battle. He closed his eyes and let memories wash in. The first time he walked on stage, the first time his voice quivered live on air, the thunderous applause. He smiled then, a faint but real one, because even now he knew what it felt like to be alive, to exist. The treatments took their toll. He lost weight, his cheeks hollowed, his voice sometimes cracked with fatigue. The cameras had stopped flashing. The scripts lay untouched. Yet in that absence, he found clarity. What mattered wasn't fame or applause. It was connection. It was the recipe of his daughter's cooking, his son's joke about his dad still being the boss, the early morning silence when the world held its breath. In between rounds of chemo and rounds of reassurance, he wrote a letter to himself. "Remember, you are more than the lines you read, the voices you projected. You are the quiet moment before dawn. You are the hand that steadies another's. Fight, yes, but also let the fight teach you grace." In the weeks that followed, there were good days and terrible days. Days when he walked into the kitchen unaided and brewed his own coffee. Days when the pain stopped him in his tracks and he leaned into a shoulder. But each day brought a new perspective. He no longer measured life by the number of viewers or the ranking of his show. He measured it in warm glances, shared laughter, tears wiped away kindly. Then came the turning point. A scan, a doctor's quiet nod, a phrase that lifted the weight in his chest. "We're seeing response." He remembered the exact second. The hum of the machine, the doctor looking up, the small upward incline of his lips. Relief, yes, but also unexpected gratitude. Because surviving didn't mean returning to the exact life he had led before. It meant stepping into a new one, shaped by vulnerability and empathy. When at last he returned to the studio, lights bright, camera rolling, he walked a little slower, paused a little more, yet his voice was stronger, not in volume, but in truth. His audience noticed it. They felt the difference. He didn't joke about things he couldn't walk away from. He accepted their weight. And in that acceptance, he felt something like freedom. As the credits rolled on that first show back, he looked at the monitor and whispered, "Thank you," to his fans, to his family, to the chance at another sunrise. And deep in his heart, he knew that whatever came next, whether quiet days, loud days, or something in between, he would meet them with the same honesty that had carried him through the storm. Because the story wasn't just about cancer, it was about life, about the beloved TV star who learned that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers in the dark and still chooses to keep moving.